Welcome to day 257 of our 2020 Focus Bible reading, and we are on Revelation chapter 17. And so we just had the bowls that were poured out, and then verse 1 of 17 starts, "One of the seven angels who had the seven bowls came and said to me, 'Come, I will show you the punishment of the great prostitute who sits by many waters. With her the kings of the earth committed adultery, and the inhabitants of the earth were intoxicated with the wine of her adulteries.' Then the angel carried me away in the spirit into a wilderness. There I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast that was covered with blasphemous names and had 7 heads and 10 horns. The woman was dressed in purple and scarlet and was glittering with gold, precious stones, and pearls. She held a golden cup in her hand filled with the abominable things and the filth of her adulteries. The name written on her forehead was a mystery: Babylon the Great, the mother of prostitutes and of the abominations of the earth. I saw that the woman was drunk with the blood of God's holy people, the blood of those who bore testimony to Jesus. When I saw her, I was greatly astonished. Then the angel said to me, 'Why are you astonished? I will explain to you the mystery of the woman and of the beast she rides, which has the 7 heads and 10 horns. The beast which you saw once was, now is not, and yet will come up out of the abyss and go to its destruction. The inhabitants of the earth, whose names have not been written in the book of life from the creation of the world, will be astonished when they see the beast, because it once was, now is not, and yet will come.' This calls for a mind with wisdom. The 7 heads are the 7 hills on which the woman sits. They are also 7 kings. 5 have fallen, one is, the other has not yet come, but when he does come, he must remain for only a little while. The beast who once was and now is not is an 8th king. He belongs to the 7 and is going to his destruction. The 10 horns you saw are 10 kings, who have not yet received a kingdom, but who for 1 hour will receive authority as kings along with the beast. They have one purpose and will give their power and authority to the beast. They will wage war against the Lamb, but the Lamb will triumph over them, because he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and with him will be his called, chosen, and faithful followers." And then the angel said to me, "The waters you saw, where the prostitute sits, are peoples, multitudes, nations, and language. The beast and the 10 horns you saw will hate the prostitute. They will bring her to ruin and leave her naked. They will eat her flesh and burn her with fire. For God has put it into their hearts to accomplish his purpose by agreeing to hand over to the beast their royal authority until God's words are fulfilled. The woman you saw is the great city that rules over the kings of the earth." All right, so here the language is so clear. You have this city that sits on 7 hills. Well, Rome was known as that city. It was a city that was surrounded by many waters, and it was the use of those waters which helped expand the kingdom of this city-state called Rome. It was started as a city, became an empire. That's the way this works. And so this is again a reminder that there is this satanic force that's at work, and that it is one of those that you can't escape the fact that this is starting to kick up. And this is a book written to people who are about to experience the power of Rome in its most aggressive and violent form towards them as followers of Jesus. And so especially in the region of Turkey, because it was just, they worshiped the emperor because it gained them favor with the emperor. And so if you were not willing to worship the emperor, you were actually considered, unpatriotic. You were outside of the kingdom and yet within it. And that was not something they would stand for. And so they are about to experience the hard times. But this is the message of Revelation, but it's not over. I know it's going to look like Rome is the most powerful kingdom on the planet. They will face judgment for what they're doing, because there's continual reference to the Lamb, continual reference to God being with his people. And yes, there's going to be blood spilled. That's what's prophesied here. The terrible times are about to get terrible, but we have a God who's in charge. And I love what it says in verse 14. It says, "They will wage war against the Lamb, but the Lamb will triumph over them, because he is Lord of lords and King of kings." He is still the sacrificed lamb, but he's in charge. And with him will be his, and I love the phrasing here, his called, chosen, and faithful followers. Now, as a person who believes that, the not in a more Calvinistic sense, and my brothers and sisters who are more Calvinistic or Reformed in their theology, they would prefer this say chosen, called, and faithful followers. That's not what's revealed. What's revealed is they're called, chosen, and faithful. They're called because they were chosen. So you could still work your theology in there, but I just love the way that that's laid out. Called, chosen, and faithful followers, that all of those categories matter. And that's who we are in Jesus. We are called, we are chosen, and we are given the opportunity during times of testing to be faithful. And where does it end? Followers. Ultimately, that's who we are. There's one thing we need to walk away from the book of Revelation as a follower of Jesus is we are called to continue to follow. That has not changed for thousands of years. He is not so focused on when these things are going to happen. He's describing in very kind of illustrative language what's going to happen, but who's in charge is what's central to this book, and it's where we're going to end when we get there. So that's it for today. We will see you tomorrow for chapter 18. Have a good one.